Really?
Welcome, welcome. Reaper, would you shut the door back there? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning, sir. Morning. Hello.
How's everybody?
Hello.
Please find a seat and we'll begin shortly. Now is shortly. Please stand if you would. Let's honor our nation and we'll get started here. Wait for you to get up here. Got you trapped in there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. And if you would please stay standing, we have a place set here for those who are not able to be with us today. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, announcements. We have our normal Vanna White that operates the slides is vacationing or something. What's Catherine doing? She's off goofing off. So she's not with us today. So we're just kind of winging it in terms of announcements. Who has anything the group needs to know? Yes, ma'am.
Well, of course, you know I do. Remember Memorial Day is around the corner. So plan on getting that on your calendar. Our event at Trophy Club is awesome and always moving. That's number one. Number two, it's time for fundraising,
yep.
And Carl's going to pass this around. Please, someone make sure my husband takes it home because I have to leave early. So, Scott, you're in charge of making sure he gets that home. We have $50, so what our fundraising does is wherever we see a need, we kind of donate. We spent money for candy for our 4th of July parade. And we had a $50 left over. The cemetery, of course, here in Trophy Club is where we hold our Memorial Day ceremony. The light went out that illuminates the flag so it can fly at night. And they asked if we would be able to, one of us went apparently and bought it in the past. It was not something, okay, thank you, Carl. She didn't remember who it was, but you put it there and they just said, you have an opportunity to keep it going. And so we just paid $50 for a new light to be installed. So we're down to zero. We have no candy money, no extra petty cash. So it'll be time to start collecting. We'll pass it around, put in your loose change, put in whatever you can, and we'll have an opportunity every month for the next couple months until we get some candy money, and we'll call it quits for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and then remember 4th of July, when the town does the 4th of July parade, we always have a veteran float. And we buy candy and we throw it at kids. So we try to get the hard stuff.
Yes.
So,
Carl, we throw it to the kids, not at.
well, maybe that's why you do, but see, I won't be on council then, so I can throw it at the kids. Dennis will probably still be on council, I have to throw it towards the kids.
It is very competitive throwing the candy, so we have to have a little weight to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of, well, you got to get it away from the trailer or you'll run the kids over when they come get the candy. So, you know, it's all for the kids. That's right.
Have we ever approached the dentist to give us some money?
I know, it's true.
That's true, we should get a cut.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a great suggestion, Mylon. You have to remember that. Other announcements?
Yeah.
Dennis, yes?
Those who live in Trophy Club, I'm running for election. I'm currently a town council person, and I'd like to be reelected and continue. I've got a flyer on the back table, and if you have any questions, I'm standing around to help. Thank you.
And like Dennis always says, he doesn't endorse people, but he says go vote. So go vote. Anybody else?
So, watching Dennis over the years, years ago I was on council. Dennis would be one of the 3 people in the audience just to go and watch. And that's that actually tells you the commitment more so than even being on the council. Everybody that's there has to be there. Some people that come and watch don't have to be there, and he's done that then for 20 some odd years.
And anybody can go sit in a council meeting. You can also, usually it's broadcast live. So you can also pick up the feed, the town Facebook page or the website will give you a link to watch the feed so you can watch from home and even make comments. Anybody else? I'll make sure I don't miss anybody from the back. We'll go around and do introductions here in a minute. Yes, sir. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Yep.
I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. I'm Tom Jansen. My late wife, Carol Jansen, we lived here 11 years, and she was very active in the Women's Club. In 2012 is when we created the Veterans Memorial there by the school. She was very involved in that. And we were here together in 2019 in August when we rededicated the military working dog statue. So I came here this week for a conference, and I saw on the sign in Trophy Club, hey, veterans are meeting on Saturday, so I'm flying out in a few hours, but I wanted to be with you this morning and just kind of pay tribute to all of you, because Trophy Club means a lot to me, and certainly to my late wife Carol, and certainly veterans. She was an Army veteran. My son's in the Army right now, and both our dads were Army veterans as well. So it's great to be with you today, and I honor each of you as heroes in Trophy Club. So God bless you.
You know, it's a kind of a funny story. Thank you for being here. Kind of a funny story when all that monument was coming up. Somebody called me and said, can you believe they're going to put a veteran memorial and they haven't asked any veterans for input? And so I can't remember how it ended up happening, but Kelly ended up, she got your wife and me on a call, and I said, I can't believe they haven't asked any veterans for input. And your wife goes, I'm a veteran. And it was like, oh, duh, right? So I think we shocked the heck out of town council that night because they thought the veterans and the women's club were going to come in and have a big argument about the monument. And we came in like arm in arm because we had gone to the Holiday Inn beforehand and had a couple of beverages. And so we came into the town council and we told council we all supported it, and they didn't want to do the monument, right? It was very combative for a little while. So yeah, thank you for being here. I'm so glad you made time. And your wife, her impact on this community is forever with the Veteran Memorial. So it's wonderful that you made time to come. Yeah, thank you. Since he did his introduction, let's go ahead and go around the room, do introductions, and then I'll come back and I'll finish up there. So let's not stop the trend. Please, you just tell us who you are. And
Do I have to stand up again?
well, you don't have to.
I'm John Mackles. I served in the Navy in the late 60s.
Thanks for being here. Zach?
Good. I'm Zach, serving the Marine Corps, and I'm playing presenter today.
We'll just go zigzag through.
Okay. I'm Julie Mackles. I also flew jets in the Navy. I retired quite a while ago.
Good morning, Jimmy Mazanos, Navy.
Tom is down at Southwick with Myron, this gentleman. Yes,
And your name again?
Nate Tom.
Very nice. Thank you for being here.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Brandon Wright. I'm the town manager here at Gulf Club.
Kelly Castaway, Patriot.
Former GallantFew board member.
I Rodriguez, active duty Army.
I'm Andrea. I too much HP veteran, but I very much appreciate them being that second.
And she is a current GallantFew board member. Sir.
John, he's a submarine.
Submarines, you said? One of those guys, huh? Like can go in your bedroom, shut off all the lights, and just stay there for a month and never come out? Is it? Sir?
I can't get up.
That's okay.
The Caliber Air Force.
So glad you're here.
I can't get it. Oh, yeah. Milan, Georgia, United States Army, 1968, 73.
And GallantFew board member. Don't want to leave that out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Carrie Elstead. I'm a +1, but I climb with all these GallantFew members.
I'm Rob Nickel. I served in the Army 2015 and 2020.
Tom Lewis, Navy, submarines.
Another one of those guys.
Did it serve in Army 68 to 72, some of that Vietnam?
Scott?
Scott Spence, retired in the Air Force, hog driver, if anyone knows what that is, 810. Served with Emily and Kurt here, and I don't know, everybody in the Air Force has call signs. Kurt, anybody want to guess what his call sign is? Their last name is Ladich. Ladich.
Radish. He pronounced it
Radish. His call sign was Dig.
Dave Ladich.
I like
Sounds like an army roll.
Michelle Ritchie, I'm also +1 and I hang out with them.
Hang out with
Did,
it.
I didn't fly hogs, Texas Vipers.
Hello everyone, my name is Tommy Rios Jr. I'm an active duty Air Force veteran, spent some time in beautiful Cannon Air Force Base in Mexico.
And who's that young man with you?
My son Bill.
I did not serve in any of the armed forces.
Yes.
Always a wise guy.
No. Doug Rhodes, retired U.S. Air Force. I have a call sign, it's Chief 2, because I was in the fire department.
Hi, Eric Wright, retired Army.
Emily Laddick, retired Air Force. And yes, I did serve with Scott and Dig, who is my husband, and I outranked her both.
She pretty much outranks everybody in the room, I think. We don't have any generals, so.
Cindy Milan, I was introduced to the group by mine, and I'm the spouse of a veteran.
Patriot.
I guess I'm the veteran. Good morning, my name's Kirk Malone, U.S. Navy, avoiding submarines at all costs.
Were you hunting submarines?
I don't want to go to submarines.
And our newest, latest comer here?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Marvin Sumner, retired United States Marine. Introduced right here by my great friend who brought me to the organization. Told me about it, so I want to come around and be with some amazing and like-minded people. So thank y'all for taking me in.
Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Oh, welcome. Doug, can I put you on the spot real quick?
Sure.
You said something about the value of being associated with this group, and in specific, something that I said to you. Do you remember what that was, and would you share it? You have no idea what I'm talking about, right?
Remind me.
Self-image.
Self-image.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm really putting you on the spot.
you are putting me on the spot.
Yeah. And he likes to talk, so this is dangerous too.
What?
So you like to talk, so this is dangerous.
True. I'm trying to talk in a couple of different venues. For those of you that weren't here in September, when I did speak to the group, I'm a justice-involved veteran. And because of that, Carl would be at Veterans Treatment Court where I was required to attend for a year. And I sought some services and was able to provide me counseling on 2 of my treatment plan goals. And sometime around this time last year when we were doing our counseling sessions, he told me it would be a good thing for you to come to the Metroport Veterans Association meetings. You'd be a good speaker. And I kind of went, yeah, I could probably do that. And because of that, coming to my first meeting last May and experiencing the ability to come to a group like this, speaking about identity, it has given me a chance to reestablish being a veteran. I've been a veteran for almost 19 full years now, but it was always on the back burner in my mind. And this past year, I've been able to reconnect with veterans and refine the veteran in myself, because I let go of that. Not completely, but enough that it was always a secondary thought. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to come to this session, go climbing with Carl and the group at Movement Gym in Grapevine. And it's given me an opportunity to be happy and proud of myself and grateful for the opportunity. And I truly am very humble when I say that, because my life situation is not easy, but it's got its issues. I've told another group that I'm associated with when I meet them on Fridays mostly, but other days of the week, that my life has a storm cloud that is out there over the horizon. I don't have to worry about it until it comes to shore. It has once, it'll do it a couple more times in the next few months, but that's neither here nor there. Giving me the opportunity and having the opportunity to reconnect with veterans is very important. So I told Carl that I would do whatever to help him out. And that's why in my back pocket I've got cards that say my name, Ambassador, Retired Air Force Veteran, that say GallantFew on the top. Because I wanted to reconnect and I wanted to be able to be there, because that's part of it. One of the things with the other thing that I'm involved with, AA, is that you have to give back. You get a gift, you can't keep it. You have to give back. So me being here, me being able to stand in for Carl or Zach whenever necessary, if they call me, it's truly a blessing and it's my way of giving back. So if you have any questions, I know who Carl and Zach are. I can point you in their direction, because I get to redefine the role of ambassador, or define it, and that's my job. Carl told me, you're a senior NCO in the United States Air Force, you're retired. You need to be that. You need to be that person who's there for somebody, to listen and refer them to the right agency, the right person to talk to. So I'm grateful to have that role, and thank you very much. Is that it?
That was perfect. That was perfect. But Kelly, I'll get to you in just a moment. Emily, hang on a second. Recently, I was talking with a younger veteran, and that veteran had served in a special operations unit 10 years ago. And when I talk to new veterans, I always ask them, complete the sentence, I am blank, right? And his answer was, I am a mess. So when your internal self-image, which is an I am statement, is I'm a mess, or I'm a screw up, or I'm a failure, then your subconscious tries to make it true, because that's who you believe that you are. And so I said, so you were in the military, right? And he said, yeah, where'd you serve? And he said, well, I was in Savannah, Georgia. And I said, what'd you do? And he said, well, I was in the 160th, the Special Operations Aviation. And I said, so you're a Night Stalker? And he said, yeah. And I said, so 10 years ago, if I were to ask you, who are you? What would you have said? I'm a Night Stalker. Okay, so you still are the person that did that, right? You still are a senior NCO in the United States Air Force. You still are the things that you have accomplished, that's still in there. But too many veterans lose sight of that. And then when they forget that and their self-image and self-esteem sinks down because of life circumstances, because of tragedies, because of whatever, sometimes out of their control, whether it's a traumatic brain injury or something else, that takes their self-image to a place that, like Doug said a minute ago, not connected to any community, isolated. What did you tell me a week ago? And I was like, did you ever in a million years think that you would utter that sentence? Do you remember what?
It was Harvard has been conducting a 75-year-long study with over 2,000 male participants, and right now, as of 2015, there are 64 active participants.
But what was the result of the study?
The result was they were displaying what it takes to have a happy life, and a happy life is basically a product of happy, healthy relationships, having men of
community relationships, yeah, not isolating. And so we're at the climbing gym, right? Getting ready to climb, and Zach's like, you know, there's a Harvard study out there that says, and I'm like, who are you?
Finally.
Okay, Kelly, you were going to ask?
Yes,
or
so
say something?
SPARS describes as the committee that's going back to the town, or the community, I'm sorry, from the town, and that's where we plant over 40,000 flags for 4th of July to be in place. So if anybody's interested in being a team captain or volunteering to help us, please reach out to me, and we'll get your name and information and see y'all in there.
Do you have all of the previous neighborhood captains? Because like I did my neighborhood, do you have that list of all that stuff?
I know where it is.
Okay, because I still want to do it, but the veterans group, we always do the stretch from the tennis courts to wherever we need to go, right? So keep in mind when it comes around 4th of July timeframe, it's not a lot of work, but it's usually 180,000 degrees outside. And so the more that we have do it, you know, it's a great opportunity to get out, do stuff in the community and be around other veterans, family members. If my grandson is in town, he's always helping us plant flags. So it's a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, the veterans partner with the fire department, so we plant flags together.
So with it being on Thursday this year, I look, because Rangers play that afternoon. Which day is planting?
Usually, I'm sorry.
Usually it's 2 days prior, so, and we are still in the early planning stages of everything. So, yeah, we'll get the information out there.
Yeah, usually 2 days prior and then they come up day after. Dennis?
It's important to know that this is a citizen residence thing. This is not the town staff, this is not the park department, this is the people who live here getting together and doing this, and they've done it for many, many years, and we need to continue it that way. It's the best way.
So, yeah, some of you that don't live in Trophy Club, you got to come here 4th of July because every street in Trophy Club is lined with flags on 4th of July. I mean, every street in Trophy Club is lined with flags. It's absolutely amazing to see. And if your community doesn't do it, take some ideas back and maybe get your community to do something in the future. Emily, you had something to say?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out real quick. Not a veteran here, but has a veteran's heart. You know, we're all problem solvers. If you've been in the military, you've solved many problems on an hourly basis. Brandon, our new town manager for a couple months now, he doesn't really know me. I've met him before from here. And I emailed
You should be
him.
very scared, Brandon.
I emailed him the other day. We were having a problem with construction on our street, and he immediately solved the problem and emailed me back. I'm going to say within 2 hours. Super impressed. It's the kind of town manager we need here in Trophy Club. Thank you for your veteran heart and problem. Yeah, that was me.
And he just bought a house. Just bought a house in Trophy Club.
On my street.
That's why you got
So before I forget to say it, Denim and Diamonds up there at the top on April the 20th, GallantFew is going to do a fundraising silent and live auction event. It's going to be at Circle R Ranch in Flower Mound. Tables are $1,250. Individual seats are $150. And the Justin Mason Band is going to play. Justin Mason is a Marine Corps veteran, very talented country western singer. Mike Schlitz, who a lot of you have met, he's a double hand amputee, burned over 90% of his body. He's going to come in and talk about his experience from military all the way up to now he's an ambassador for the Gary Sinise Foundation. He's a former GallantFew board member. So he's going to talk about the work that he does and some of the challenges that he's gone through. And I'll tell you, I traveled with him. I was the first one to travel. His mom was his caregiver as he went through his recovery process. And she's like, I really need a break. And Mike said, hey, there's a trip. I need somebody to go with me. So I went with him. And I learned what you go through when you don't have hands. And I learned what the caregiver goes through when you don't have hands. And from not being able to button shirts or, other functions that you have to take care of. And as soon as I would get him all squared away, then I'd go over to my side of the hotel room. I'd sit down on the bed and I'd hear, Carl, and I'd be like, oh. So to hear his story and the things he's gone through and the challenges he's overcome, what's interesting, he does not consider himself a disabled veteran because he said, I got wounded, but I've adapted, I've learned new things. He does not consider himself a disabled veteran, which is pretty phenomenal. Because when you see him, you're just like, man, amazing. Other comments or our speaker this morning had a map error and ended up in Dallas instead of here. So.
Hey, so real quick, we have a couple of people here who may not have been attending a long-term relationship with us, and so they're maybe some people don't know exactly what MBA does, how we are involved with one another, what we can do to support one another. So if you don't mind, I'd like to get a couple quick little testimonials of basically something that you took out of the MBA. Maybe you felt better about something, maybe you found a community, maybe you found a group, but if anyone has any type of testimony that they want to give, because again, there are some new folks here who maybe are a little apprehensive, they don't know quite what they're getting into, and there's nothing here, but that's what we want to do is welcome them I know there are some people here that were in the founding, like Carl and Dennis. So this kind of has a stem from, this is a product of what y'all created 10 years ago, as for sure, right? Marines aren't good with math, but I know that you added one. Anyways, Dennis.
Yeah, when this was originally talked about, a lot of it came back to Carl and a guy named Jim Carroll. And at the Starbucks just recently opened at that time when we sat outside. It's important to be part of this group. I was, for many years, decades, I did not even put that I was a veteran on my resume. That's the Vietnam era type stuff. But coming out in 2007 and then being part of this group and being able to speak helps establish what Carl was saying, that's the image. And even if you're just participating and get up and talk for a few minutes, that helps, both in your own image and also in your own thoughts, and making a positive impact on the community and being part of the group. And I thank Carl for everything he's done. And Zach, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be out running a marathon or something.
Yeah, something. I'm getting my head right now.
Oh, all right. Thank you. And I appreciate everything Carl's done and Zach and Jones, Kelly, people have been part of this. It's important to speak. And even if it's only for 10 minutes, get on the speaker list. Please.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Thanks. To give you a little history, since it is the 10-year anniversary, I keep forgetting that. When I moved here, 2012, I think it was, Jim Perro was on the town council. And I went in and I sat down with the town manager, who at that time was a military veteran. And I said, hey, I'm a new resident. I mentor veterans, primarily work with the Ranger Regiment, Special Operations folks. But what kind of veteran issues do we have here in Trophy Club? And he basically said, we don't have any issues in Trophy Club. And so it was an interesting conversation. And then I found out Jim Perro was an Air Force Vietnam veteran. So I bought him a cup of coffee and I said, hey, Jim, what kind of veteran issues do we have in Trophy Club? And Jim said, we don't have any issues in Trophy Club. And I said, none of your friends that served or have any issues? And he's like, no. And I said, what about your friends' kids? And he said, oh, yeah, I have a friend whose son served in the military, deployed overseas, and they haven't had luck finding a job, and they've been pretty isolated in the house, and they're up all night on the computer. And I said, well, what are we doing about it as a town? And he's like, well, I don't know. And so I said, well, what if we started getting together and just once a month having breakfast? And we can share stories, and we can identify if there's an issue in town we want to address, then we'll do that. And so Jim thought that was a good idea, and so I think that's when the three of us sat down at Starbucks and had coffee. And then shortly after that, we did the first veteran breakfast, and it was at Fuzzy's in Roanoke. So we grabbed the extra big booth area back there, and we started filling it up. And first there were only like 3 or 4 of us, and then it turned into 6, and then it was 10. And then somebody said, well, all we're doing is meeting and eating. Why don't we do something, right? So then that's when we started, I think, talking about the Memorial Day observance and Veterans Day. And so all of those things in the community kind of developed, and they weren't non-existent before that, but we really were able to go in and help those things grow. Meat U Anywhere was built, came over and talked to Andy. He said, yeah, you can use this room in the back. As far as I know, we're the only group. He doesn't even let Rotary use this on a weekly basis for meetings, right? So we get to come in here once a month at no charge and use this room. So anytime you get a chance to thank the Meat U Anywhere folks, please do so. Sometime around that point, somebody came to me in the community and said, hey, I know you have a group of veterans that meet for breakfast. Did you know there's a homeless veteran in Trophy Club? I'm like, there's not a homeless veteran in Trophy Club? And they said, yeah, they're over there in the hotel. They're living in the parking lot in their car. And the way that I actually found this out was because they had a couple of dogs, and the dogs were being put up for foster, and that's how the whole process that the veteran and his wife, he was a Navy veteran, had gone through some health issues, burned through all their savings, she lost her job, and they just kept, hoping something would come, and then it didn't. And so I got connected to them, found out that his wife had cosmetology skills. And so one of the things that we did with some of the money that we've raised is we bought a a cosmetology chair for her so she could put it in a place and start her own private practice. And then I got them connected with Barra Church. And Barra Church just surrounded them with all kinds of support. And none of that would have happened if it weren't for this group, because this group gave the visibility to the community that we do this, right? So sometimes you don't have any idea, you just get together for breakfast and you don't know anything, but things happen, especially the more people that know what it is. And if you don't live in this community, go start a veteran breakfast in your community, right? Start with 2 or 3 and just let it build, and then address issues as they come up in your community. And telling your story is the best part. Mylon?
Well, along those same lines, Carl and I got together at Fuzzies, and he said, have you ever spoken about what you did in the United States Army? I said, no. As a matter of fact, for the last 43 years, I haven't told anybody that I was even in the Army, because it's the same thing, Vietnam stuff. And so he said, well, I want you to speak at Vet Expo. I think I did the Memorial Day thing first.
You did Rotary first.
Yeah, Rotary. And then...
So we started building him up.
Anyway, I could be here for an hour. But when I first spoke at the Memorial Day, it was, I just broke down. I was crying. And, ever since then, they seem to have me back, every once in a while. And they can't seem to shut me up. So...
Nor do we want to.
It's helped a great deal. Now, project that a little bit further, and we actually have been in front of a couple of other city councils, and they try to do our best to make them feel guilty if they did not have a veterans program. I live in Southland, and they don't have a veterans program. Well, now they do. They have a focus group, and they plugged in their arts council, and we're supposed to be designing a veterans monument or a park for veterans where the monuments will be placed. Oh, by the way, I wonder who brought that up. But anyway, Nathan is part of that, and it takes a while for me to get used to working with Vietnamese. Just kidding. Just kidding. And so anyway,
That's why they're on opposite sides of the room.
So anyway, we're working it. We're working it, and that's just as an example for what's going on in South Lake, because of what is going on here in the Trophy Club. It's got us moving in the right direction. Are you guys in Grapevine or?
We're South Lake.
South Lake, okay. So I got you covered. But hopefully we'll do the same thing at Grapevine and Roanoke and other places as well. And it's funny how it just keeps on going.
Sir.
So mine is going to be speaking of my organization, which is the LOWW, not the commander. So he's going to be signing up next month. He's going to be the speaking. I see him speaking in May. So April is him speaking.
Tell everybody what MOWW is.
It's the military order of the world wars. It was founded in 1919 by General Pershing. It's for officers. But they're thinking about expanding that to enlisted.
Well, somebody's got to bring the food to the table. I don't know about that.
He's a new companion. We love him. We'd like to have him join us. With any organization, we're losing members because of age. But this organization is not. You're bringing in the younger faces, which I like a lot. But yeah, he doesn't like Vietnamese, but that's fine.
Dallas or Fort Worth?
I'm in South Lake.
No, you're commander, which chapter?
Dallas chapter.
Yeah, there's also one in Fort Worth.
So the Fort Worth one is shrinking. I think in a few years it's going to disappear. Probably merge with us.
All right.
So
And one of the things is the name makes you think you're a World War II veteran, right? Because military order world wars. So maybe at some point in the future we can get you on the agenda. You can educate everybody on what MOWW is and give the opportunity for those that may want to join. I think I'm a member, but I belong to a bunch of organizations. So.
And the other thing is, since it's buffet, they don't have anybody serving.
Yeah, it is buffet.
So it's a meeting.
I guess it's okay then.
There you go. But by the same token, I don't know whether you know about this or not, but also South Lake now has a American Legion in South Lake, post number 14.
Did not know that.
Yeah, just started. So I think they got all 6 people or whatever. But that's a building block too.
I'm a member of the So why did I do this? I'm trying to get someone involved, but you guys have a memorial, we don't.
Yeah, thanks to Natan, we actually had a Veterans Day in Trophy Club. I mean, or
South Lake. Yep.
I mean, people downtown South Lake were shocked. They didn't know what the hell was going on.
I had Kevin Carey.
That's pretty impressive.
He came and spoke to South Lake. So we'll get there.
Nice. I like it. Tommy?
So, I've been coming now, I think we're approaching 5 years. It's been a while. Before I came, I didn't really talk about my military time a whole lot. I'm in a very corporate world, and there's not a lot of military in corporate until you ask. And so a few years ago, actually during COVID, they were doing morale boosts and trying to find different groups inside the company, women's groups, African American groups, Hispanic groups, and stuff. We're about veterans. I know there's at least 3 of us out of the company of 2,200, so they did a quick survey, and we're about as corporate as it gets. There are 124 veterans in our company, and nobody knew.
So that's about 5%?
About 5%,
roughly?
which was shocking when you think about it. It was statistically a little bit of a surprise. And then I started working with other clients, and now we started talking about going to client meetings, and it's shocking. This week I had 5 client meetings, Fortune 500 companies, and each one of those meetings had a veteran in the room. And so it's one of those things where it used to be a secret, and somehow this is now becoming more topical. And I don't know if it's because I'm open to it and I'm having the conversation a lot more, but it's amazing how quickly people want to be a part of the conversation. I was having a chat with a friend of mine about the fact that you probably remember your childhood phone call, but you may not know anybody else's at this point. And you probably remember the kids that you became friends with as a child. Beyond that group, it was the people I went to college with and the people I was in the military with that I had a connection. After that, you really don't spend enough time with anybody other than the people in your house to really build good friendships. And I would say that this group has probably opened the door for that, more so than any other group I've been a part of. I'm on a couple of different boards for this and that. None of it sticks like this does. So I appreciate all.
You're going to be on our board eventually.
You know,
I've got a target on the back.
I think there may be a word in front of that, but waterboarding's
Whatever you Navy submarine guys do is you just keep it to yourself.
But the part that I'll wrap with is the part I love about this, and we don't, my wife and I didn't have kids, we're still happy. But one of the best things about being in this room has been watching Zach over the last few years. You talk about, I mean, a good guy, good thinker, lots of things, watching him grow. And I didn't go to UNT, but I will root for UNT for the rest of my life, because that's where he is right now. It is so awesome. I mean, you fought a battle and you win, and that's the whole reason that I come. So cheers.
The day he got accepted at UNT, he was so happy.
Yeah, I took way too many pictures, and the application looks better in this light, in this light, in this light. Oh, yeah, I got sick of it, so.
You know what? Make them sick.
Oh, Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it.
You bet.
One of the things that GallantFew does, I wanted to take a quick moment, and Zach can flip the screen over and show you, we developed back in 2015, 2016, a thing that we call the GallantFew Azimuth Check. And the Azimuth Check is the way that we bring veterans into the GallantFew community, especially if they need coaching or counseling, right? GallantFew now, we focus on three main areas: connecting, coaching, and counseling. Connecting is stuff like this. We want to foster connection. We don't want veterans to isolate. We want to connect them with resources. We want to connect them with opportunities like rock climbing or other things in the community. We also want to connect them with resources that help them with jobs. We want to connect them with resources that help them with VA claims, those kind of things. Coaching is something that Zach and I, and we have a couple others that are certified to do this, and it's called subconscious restructuring. We do a 3-hour workshop that's free for veterans that helps you identify the negative self-talk, like I am blank, I am a mess. How do you change that to I am successful, right? Working through some stuff right now. Going through that mental change is a huge part of what that workshop is all about. And then the counseling part is clinical counseling that I provide to veterans at no charge in the state of Texas. At some point, when there's a counseling compact and we go outside the state of Texas, we'll do more stuff outside the state. But right now, it's in the state. So the GallantFew Azimuth Check, and I can't really show you, this is a mock record that I did. If you scroll down just a little bit on that, I think, yeah, so see these questions here. Each one of these questions represents an area of what we call fitness. There's 5 areas of fitness that the GallantFew Azimuth Check measures. The first one is emotional. And emotional, if you say emotional fitness, what is that? Well, emotional wellness to me sounds wishy-washy, so we use the term fitness. Because if it's fitness, you can measure it. And if you can measure it, you can change it. So the first one there, number 1 is full of, I am full of anticipation for the future. 1's not at all, 10's a whole bunch. The second one is, I'm capable of handling anything life throws my way. Again, 1's not at all, 10's a whole bunch. I'm confident in my ability to, I don't remember what the last half of that one is. That doesn't matter. I'm driven to succeed. I believe life is worth living. Number 5. That's the key one that we always focus on first. Because if somebody doesn't score a 10 on that, then that tells me there's some thought of suicide in there. Right? If they say 7 out of 10, life worth living, 30% chance they've thought about or thinking about suicide. Right? And it's pretty accurate when you talk to someone about that. If I ask a veteran, are you thinking about suicide? They will not say yes. But if I say life worth living 1 to 10, I might get a 6. Okay, that tells me something, right? Doug?
There's also a question on the Azimuth Check. I can have a good time and not be involved with alcohol. For me, that's a 10.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and that's in the social fitness area. So each one of those, scroll back up to the top so we can see all of the charts. So the top left there is the overall average of this kind of fictional thing. So we're going along really well until April, and then all of a sudden there's a dip. Right? Okay, well, let's look at where, so in April, emotional fitness also took a little dip. Social fitness was kind of okay. Physical fitness, something took a big dip here, and then spiritual fitness, something took a big dip. So that tells, in this particular instance, there is an event that happened that April, right? So let's find out what it was. Maybe it was an accident, maybe it was the death of somebody else, maybe it was the VA declined to give them their claim. Whatever it was, you can go in and now that gives me the ability to, if I'm monitoring a veteran and I have them do this Azimuth Check once a month, if there's a big change somewhere, now I can say, hey, what's going on in that particular area? When I talk to somebody for the very first time and they do the Azimuth Check, we get that if you take just one of those points, like April 2019, for instance, the emotional fitness score there was about maybe a 5.5 out of 10. To me, that's not a bad score. That just is a score. That's how they assessed. So now we dig in and we ask. So are you satisfied with your emotional health? When you look at those 5 statements, maybe it was the life worth living question that brought them down. Maybe it was taking on life's challenges. But so do you feel confident if you're a 5 out of 10, are you satisfied with that area in your life? And typically they're going to say no because it's a 5 out of 10. Okay, so if you are a 9 or a 10 out of 10, what would it look like? What's the difference between where you are today and what that is? That becomes that I am blank. You start filling in the self-image of what that is, and we can help them work towards it. So I just wanted a quick moment and let you know that it's not just sitting down and having breakfast or going rock climbing. But we spend a lot of time individually with veterans working through these very issues. And we can do the azimuth check. It doesn't matter where in the world that veteran is. We can do it with them, and then we can go online. We do a lot of virtual coaching and counseling to help them identify those areas that they need work on. Any questions about that? Just want to give you a quick overview of, since we had an extra minute without our scheduled speaker. Zach, have I missed anything? Yeah, we're from here. Anybody wants to come join us at the rock gym, we're going to go climb. And we're there every Tuesday and Thursday evening and most Saturday mornings. So I am working on right now an adaptive adaptive sports grant with the VA. The VA here in Dallas found out what we're doing with the climbing program, and they've sent some of their folks over. They've attended a couple of times, and now they're asking us to ask the VA for money to help fund that climbing program. So working on trying to put that grant together and make it something that's really meaningful, that's not just one gym, that maybe we can expand to some other ones. So if anybody knows about organizations that have grant opportunities, if you work for a company where you can go online and ask for funds, please let me know so that we can go start pursuing those. All right.
So Carl and I, we work pretty hard about making sure that we get certain announcements and agendas are taken care of. Certain things are being recognized, whether events, and we've had a lot of support. Emily and Kelly have helped us a lot with like 4th of July, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, wreaths across America. We've kind of put that onto y'all and given y'all that information. But what things would you like to see? I don't think we got a whole lot of feedback, and that's something I want to improve on. Everyone here, we're in a democratic nation, so with that being said, everyone has input, everyone has a say. But what would y'all want to see with the NBA? You can give me an idea now, or you can shoot me a text.
Think about it and text or email Zach, because we want this to be from the group, right? We don't want to be Zach and Carl telling everybody what we're going to do. We want you guys to tell us, hey, this is what we would like to do, and then let's foster that. That's why the South Lake thing's happening, because South Lake residents want to make it happen. So that's awesome, and well done on that. Very, very happy to hear that. All right, nothing else? Sir.
I just want to say it's been awesome being part of this group and coming here and listening to everyone's story and experiences. I learned so much, and it's been great being friends with Zach. Sometimes I'll shoot him a text about some crazy idea. He's like, what? So, all right, thank you very much.
Keep doing that.
I got one more thing I'd like to say that, when I first got with this group, we were I guess we were the Trophy Club veterans. And all of a sudden we started having people come from all over the area. And I said, we need to change the name because, I don't want people to feel like they're out if they're not living in Trophy Club. And by the way, I live in South Lake. So that was the reason to go with Metroport veterans, to kind of encompass the whole area. And I think it's more impactful, and it's starting to show, like we mentioned earlier, in other parts of the Metroplex besides Trophy Club. Nothing to take anything away from Trophy Club, because I've never seen a group of people in a township that has more enthusiasm about veterans anywhere. This place is terrific in reference to that. You really are. And you met me all, it made me feel like a second home. I mean, really.
And we'll do some more. Zach, stand up real quick and model the t-shirt. We'll get some more of these t-shirts made, so if anybody wants a t-shirt, just... All right, I guess with that, we'll conclude the meeting. So,
I'm never going to do that again.
Thanks for being here.
Walk away, please.
got the money?
I've talked to a lot